This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. We are here at the offices of Le Sommelier, exclusive wine agents, with Erika Galland from the organic Prosecco house of Perlage. How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
We have a lot of questions for you about Prosecco. Prosecco is not a wine style that I know too much about, hence I have a number of questions.
Perfect.
The first of those would be, what is the difference between DOC and DOCG Prosecco?
That's a good question, and there's not a lot of information apparently about that. So we like to explain this with a very visual idea, which is that the Prosecco DOC has only two dimensions, which is the plain, and the Prosecco DOCG has three dimensions because it's grown on the hills, so it has the altitude, which is very important, of course, for the growing of the grapes. So DOCG has a very small area. It's grown in the area of Conegliano Valdobbiadene, and it's also called Superior. It's a very small area because from Conegliano to Valdobbiadene is 30 kilometers. I don't know in miles, but 30 kilometers. And it's only the part of the hills. So if you're coming there, you'll see is a stripe of vineyards on the hills. It's amazing. While the DOC Prosecco, it's grown all over Veneto region and Friuli region, which is northeast of Italy. And it's a wider area. So the quality, they are basically different. DOCG is top quality of the Prosecco, and DOC it's the basic quality of the Prosecco.
Now, which grapes are legally allowed to go into Prosecco?
In Prosecco, you use Glera grape for the 90% minimum, and then you're allowed to add another 10% of autochthonous grape. So you can use Bianchetta, that sounds very Italian, Verdiso, and some other grapes. But the base has always to be Glera.
Now, the thing that confuses me is for many years I was under the impression that there was a grape called Prosecco.
Which is not, because Prosecco is an area. Prosecco is actually the name of a city in Friuli. So every Prosecco is associated to this area. We call Prosecco the area of Prosecco DOC Treviso, Prosecco DOC Friuli, and then we have Prosecco DOCG, Conegliano Valdobbiadene Superiore. It's very easy to say. And it's the original area. So yeah, basically it's not a grape. That's very important to know, because a grape, you can grow it everywhere, you know? While, so Glera, if you want, you can plant it here in Toronto and Niagara Falls probably. While the Prosecco, you can only call the wine made with Glera Prosecco when it's done in this area of Veneto and Friuli.
Now, your particular house have been making organic Prosecco since 1985, and I believe you were the very first biodynamic Prosecco in Italy. Can you tell me a little bit about how this came about and what it means to you to be organic and or biodynamic?
Yes, we were one of the first winery in Italy to be certified organic in 1985. Has been a very interesting road till now. We started because of course, the philosophy of the family. Perlage is a family-owned business still, you know. So it's very, very important for us to take care of our environment. The Prosecco land, as we like to call it, is a very delicate environment, and treating the vineyards in the organic and biodynamic way means to be close to your hills, needs to help them grow well and grow longer and stay there longer, while the use of the conventional is different because you use chemical and pesticides and you harm a little bit the territory, you know. So what we started in '85 has been something very unique for the territory. We're still the only certified organic company in the DOCG Prosecco area. What we create in that long time is the feeling that organic is a little bit the future, you know, the future for our territory, but the future even for the production of not only grapes, even, I mean, natural products, fruit and everything, you know. It needs to be organic. It's very important because sometimes it's confused between like organic, natural, sustainable, ecological, you know. It's good to do all these things, you know. Fortunately, in our area, we have a lot of other producers following our ideas, so they're coming closer. But organic, it's really, really important for the health of the people. So we need our consumers to be happy about what they're drinking, you know. They need to be sure that what they're drinking, it's something certified by a third party and it's organic.
I find this absolutely fascinating because Prosecco, as a region, shall we say, is known for being one of the most commercial grape growing regions in Italy, and knowing the how farming biodynamically and or organically can affect the yields and the volume of the grapes that would come out of your vineyards. I find it absolutely fascinating that you've chosen this route.
Yes, it's not easy, has not been easy for a long time, but it was what we really wanted to achieve. We're happy at this point because we have a fantastic line. Now we're happy about how we're working, how we're seeing about the qualities, which is absolutely important in the wines, you know. So this means that we follow a path that was correct. And we can see that our vineyards are healthy, you know. So even in 2013, this year has been quite a tough year because it was very rainy, you know. So the idea is that if you don't treat with chemicals, like with hard treatments, you don't save your grapes. But if you look at our vineyards treated in the organic way for 30 years, and this year, no difference, organic treatments, they are perfect. The grapes that came in the winery and that are coming because we're harvesting right now, they are perfect. And this is super important for us because we're working a lot with low-level sulfites.
Speaking of sulfites, you actually make a wine, and I find this very difficult to get around my head, but you make a no-sulfite Prosecco?
We do.
How on earth does one do that?
That's a beautiful wine, I have to say. I love this wine. And I love the story and the technology around this wine. This is the wine that probably defined Perlage as a company, as an organic company, best. This is the first no-sulfite Prosecco DOCG in the world. And the production is a little complicated, but it's important to know that all the work started in the vineyard. We select certain areas, we control and do the analysis in the areas of the vineyard where we're sure we're getting perfect and healthy grapes. Those grapes are picked up obviously by hand, taken in the winery, and then all the process is done in reduction. It means there's no contact with the air. Of course, if you don't use sulfites, which is a preservative and an antioxidant, you have to avoid any contact with the oxygen. So during this process, we arrive at the first fermentation, no contact with the oxygen, and we have to start the second fermentation, which needs yeast, and yeast produces sulfites.
That was the question that I wanted to ask you. How on earth do you do that secondary fermentation without sulfites being produced?
So Anime was first produced in 2008 with the grapes of 2006, 2 years before. And that's the answer, because in 2 years, we tried to find out a yeast that wasn't producing sulfites. Has been very difficult research, but we finally did it together with a company from our area that helped us. And we found out this yeast that has not been used for millenniums, I think. And it's a yeast that it's not producing sulfites. Normally it's used for red berry wines, but it helped us to finish the production with no content of sulfites in the wine. So when we bottle, and so I explain you also the name anime of this product, when we bottled this wine, we were all the company there waiting for the bottling and waiting for the analysis if it was exactly no sulfites. And when we discovered everything was fine, after I told you 2 years of waiting for this wine, we say, okay, this is coming from our soul. This is anime.
That is a really great story. I enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution today. Really enjoyed tasting through your Prosecco, and we look forward to tasting them in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.